Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness. And today I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about something I have essentially concluded. But if you guys will please click like down below, it would be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so. And if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate that so much. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. When you make observations, I want people to step back and really look at natural bodybuilding. And I'm not talking about the fake natties. I'm talking about the actual federations that do lots and lots of drug testing. Look at the physiques that are winning, like even natty pros, like all over the world. I want you to step back and objectively look at those physiques. And I want you to look at athletes who do non-bodybuilding, other resistance training. I want you to go back and look at bodybuilders in the 40s, 50s, okay? Realistically speaking, and I want us to draw some conclusions from this. Realistically speaking, are they any bigger? Okay? In some cases, they're generally smaller. They're usually smaller and less developed in many cases. I see guys over here, you look at a lot of these natty pro shows, like you really look through your feet and look at them. The ones that are actually really doing lots of testing. And look at the people who are winning. You guys remember even, I brought that up, that Eric Helms was probably for guys with average genetics, peak natty. And I heard people say, man, I wouldn't even bother to lift. I heard comments like that years ago. Okay. He had Natty Pro card for years. And then go look at just different types of athletes in other sports. Even look at the calisthenics guys. Okay. Other than maybe the legs, are modern natural pro bodybuilders, like actual, again, ones who are really routinely tested all the time. Are they really more jacked than just the guys who do calisthenics in the upper body? Are they even more jacked than, say, heavily tested, USAPL lifters? Are they even bigger? Anywhere? Or are they pretty much the same physiques? When you're taking away the truly genetically gifted freaks, it's the same physiques. But how many of those truly are people calling genetically gifted freaks? There's still a lot of drugs. They're just slipping through. Okay? This is the size the guys got to. But then you go back, you go to the 40s and the 50s. Most of those guys winning were, other than, again, they're not as shredded as them, they're probably more jacked. The guys who were winning the Mr. Universe and competing at the Mr. Universe and Mr. America all through the 50s, go back and look at their physiques. They're bigger than these guys. They're bigger and more jacked than these natty pros. Has the training knowledge really improved? Then why are the guys smaller? And I think this is a point when you're looking and you're seeing calisthenics athletes who are just as jacked, if not more jacked, than natty pro bodybuilders, many of whom probably really are natural. You got to step back and go, is all this stuff you guys are doing with your training, all this stuff you're taking out of the bodybuilding world, is it even doing anything? Because if dudes can jump around and do, if you have guys who do nothing but pull-ups and dips and handstand stuff and muscle-ups all day long, when they're bigger and more jacked, the training's not working then. It's clearly a waste of time. When you're looking over and seeing athletes in all sorts of other sports who are just as jacked, fighters and stuff, who are just as jacked as the natty pros, if not more. I'm not talking about even the heavier weight guys. You know, you've got to step back and say, is what you guys doing working with? So then I see all these really big bodybuilders. And this is my secret. This is the angle. I do this to do the upper chest, and you're looking. But then you really look at it objectively, whatever silly stuff they're doing, trying to isolate it, get in there. But it's like, do your own grams of gear, growth hormone, HGH. And you look at that and go, is it really the specialized training? In other words, I'm not saying training doesn't matter. We know any working out is going to help. But does anyone really and truly think any of the special stuff they're doing, this is my stuff, this is the angle I do, this is what really hits it? But then you look at the guys who are not using stuff and you look at the difference, who still even do the same stuff. It's purely drugs. It is entirely drugs building all that muscle. Yes, obviously the training matters, it helps, okay? But it's just copious amounts of drugs. I mean the same thing when you see some of these influencers who have no strength. They've got, you can tell from the shape and look, the fullness, it's just drugs. They're just goofing off on some machines. And then they're getting hurt. You guys remember one we covered a while back. Literally nandrolone and trim physique. Then he gets hurt, major injury, couldn't train for months, just doing nothing but machine lifts, nothing but machines. Okay, he's all drugs. All drugs. So then you've got to question how much of all of this stuff these guys are doing. You know, I mean, I've come in and I've done lots of videos about isolating certain heads of muscles and doing this and doing that. But really, does it really matter? I'm sorry, but when I look over and I see the calisthenics guys who look bigger, it's just not, just as big, if not bigger, than all these natty pros with their upper body. What does this tell us? When I see field athletes, football players, rugby players, or whatever, whose lower bodies are just as jacked, if not bigger, than these natty pros. See, in high school and even college, field athletes who do nothing but squats and sled work and cleans, right, and stuff, and their quads and their glutes and their adductors and calves are bigger. I think this tells us a lot. Right? I think this comes back to stuff I said for years. I've gone over and messed with a lot of the bodybuilding stuff here for a while. But it goes back and tells us what? That all this, the big movements, the athletic movements, big barbell exercises, weighted calisthenics, general physical preparedness, you know, sleds, throws, jumps, make you, if you're drug free, you will get just as big as the guys winning bodybuilding shows who aren't on drugs. You're going to be just as jacked. Sorry, that is just a simple reality of observing this stuff. So why are we even messing with any of it? Right? We could all just be more athletic. And that's just how I'm starting to feel about this stuff. I've come around full circle with some of that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.